this is a notoriously ugly engine bay. It's covered in grease, oil, dirt, everything in between. And I've honestly not touched it since I got this thing running. I got it running and driving and drag racing, and that was about all I did to it. So now I look at this thing and I'm like, well, it's kind of an eyesore to the car, even though the car is kind of an eyesore on its own, but it would look cool if the engine bay looked nice. So the Galaxy is actually turning out to be a pretty cool hot rod, and one of the downsides of it is the engine bay. It just does not stand up to the rest of the car. Now I know the car's damaged, got smashed by a tree, it's kind of a beater or whatever, you know, but the interior is actually very nice. It's what's inside that counts. See, the interior is nice, some of the exterior is nice, the transmission is nice-ish now, and the engine bay is not that. So that's something I want to spice up. So today I'm going to go ahead and kind of clean this thing up. You can see it's covered in all sorts of oil and grease and dirt and grime. And I'm going to show you guys how, for pretty much on the cheap, pretty much free, you can go ahead and spruce this thing up for not a lot of money. So by the end of this, we should have a pretty spicy engine bay. So let's get into it. That's what we're working with. Now, I've been known to make some pretty badass engine bays. I've done it for years now. I'm back in my yard spray painting them, all the way to what you see in my F100 when we took it to SEMA. I can cover pretty much a very wide range of going from mild to wild when it comes to engine bays. Now, what you can see behind me is not really the most aesthetically pleasing thing, and it doesn't actually take a lot to make these things look a hell of a lot better without a lot of effort, and I'll show you guys that. And the one thing it will definitely start with is cleaning it, because man, it's pretty freaking dirty. All right, so the engine bay in this thing is absolutely disgusting. I'm gonna take some gunk engine cleaner and degreaser. You can spray this on pretty much anything. You can grab this at a bunch of different hardware stores or local retailers around you. It's pretty cheap, works pretty well. So I'm just gonna spray this stuff pretty much everywhere. I'm not gonna focus quite on the engine yet. We'll have some different stuff on that, but I'm gonna show you guys how this makes some pretty quick work of everything. You're gonna go ahead and grab one of these cleaning brushes. These things are super useful. And I'm not going super crazy. All I'm doing is just kind of agitating everything. One more spray down on everything. All right, next step's that engine degreaser. It's the heavy duty gel. I'm gonna spray this pretty much on everything. Kind of our first round. You can see it looks much better. I still gotta work my way around the firewall, and then I just shot dirt everywhere. So it's gonna take a few tries. I'm gonna go around it, do probably 3 full passes on this thing, and it should look relatively nice when it's done. But I can see somebody got really happy with blue spray paint and just went crazy, so that'll be fun. All right, so this is after just the wash. You can see it looks like a brand new motor. It's kind of a little bit oversprayed here and there on a couple different random items. I don't know why the bottom of the hood is blue. A lot of you guys ask me that. I don't know. I'm gonna fix that too. But everything is blue, so yeah. But at least it's clean now. I'm gonna take all the wires off individually and clean those by hand and put those right back on. I'm probably even gonna relocate the fuel to where it's not looping around like that and all ugly. So all this stuff on the front is gonna look symmetrical again. I'll show you guys how I do that with nothing but zip ties, cutters to make the hose line shorter. So it's gonna look much better. I'm probably gonna replace this with a metal one as well so it doesn't melt. But I do like having the clear one when you're first getting the project running and driving, because you can see when it's first out of gas, and two, if there's anything in the filter. As you can see on the bottom, there's stuff in this filter, so that's why it's like that. But man, the shine at the end really does work. So I've talked with a lot of friends and they've been like, dude, do you even need the shine? Yes, the shine is absolutely one of the most important parts, because not only the actual protector and shine actually rinses off everything and cleans everything and puts a layer of protection so where water just rinses right off. You can see there's a bunch of dry spots right there, and the way the water beads up, it actually protects it and gives it like a ceramic. It's really cool. So you can ceramic coat your engine basically. Very cool stuff. You can see it didn't take really much of anything, just 2 products and sprayed it on and then hosed it all off. So now I'm gonna hand wipe this entire thing, pull it into the shop, and I'm gonna show you guys kind of what we got going on next, which involves a little bit of disassembly because I do have some other valve covers that'll look a lot nicer. Overall, we're just gonna tidy everything up. Next thing is I'm gonna pull this weird PCV system off because the carburetor hits this like perfectly. Try to take it off. Oh, it's already breaking. Oh, that's broken. I'm gonna get a plug here and then cap this one as well, and then hopefully take that thing out to where I can get the fuel line in. All right, that's one way to get that out. Junk. Okay, let's see if it fits now. All that work, it doesn't even fit. I know I can get a shorter one of these or bend it. Oh, it looks like we're running the 1-inch spacer. That's what we're gonna run right there. Now it doesn't hit, at least there. Oh, don't want a 9-inch spacer on this thing. Not a big deal. Spray that out with a little bit of brake clean. I've just got some plugs. I'm gonna go ahead and shove these guys in. You're probably like, oh, why would you delete those? Because this thing doesn't need 6 PCVs on it. That's a little ridiculous. There's literally 3 on one side and 1 on the other. Just do one into the air cleaner like it's supposed to be, and then run a separate one into the back of the carburetor. It doesn't need a lot. I don't know why this thing has so many, so I don't want it to have this many. All right, next thing to clean up that's super easy is the wires, and I'm gonna put plugs in this thing anyways because I've really never done it. I figured why not. I just verified firing order. Do that anyways, just in case the cam's been changed, even though ironically it says the firing order right here. I don't think FE's run really any other firing order than the one that's stamped on this, but just for my own sanity, I'm gonna check it. I did. Checks out. Grab these things by the boot, not the wire. I've torn so many of them in half, and it really ruins your day when you gotta do that. And then just gently wiggle them off, and then they should come off. I'm gonna take the cap off with it. Just take this whole thing off, one big shot. Get it off, there it goes. Wow, look how much better that looks. Okay, so we have a points distributor that should be working fine. Of course, it's at the one part of the rotation I can't check to see if it's lifting properly, but I can see it probably is. And it runs fine, so I'm not gonna deal with it. I just might clean in there and that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna vacuum the top of this thing one more time. I'm gonna pull this gasket off, and then I'm gonna get everything ready for paint. I'm also gonna change these valve covers. So what's probably gonna happen is I'm gonna shoot the valve covers off the car, and then shoot the intake with these valve covers on to cover everything on the engine, and then I'll swap everything in one shot. So I'm gonna show you guys how to rebuild an engine in a can. It's one of my favorite tools. This is gonna be a mess. Oh yeah. You get your iron in for the day. So what I'm gonna do is, oh man, all these wires are just chewed up. So this is, I think, stock temp gauge. We're gonna cut that, cap that. Pretty much put this whole harness into one little easy tight loom. I'm gonna Tessa tape the whole thing, but I'll do that after. So for right now, I'm just gonna kind of move it off to the side so it's out of the way. Of course, it's stuck under this bracket. Throttle, that cable that can stay. This is our temp gauge. I'm gonna leave that because if you pull that out, it's gonna make a big mess. Ask me how I know. What I gotta do is just tape up a few things that I don't really want to get blue paint on, and then I'm just gonna like brush paint this on, like dust it on in just little areas. It's already blue, I'm not changing the color. I'm gonna leave it for blue. And I'm just gonna dust some blue paint back onto this thing and freshen it all up. Like a lot of the paint's failed on the front half here. Put literally a towel over the pulley, dust it on, towel over everything I don't want blue on, dust it on, it'll look fantastic when it's done. Alrighty, here is what I'd like to introduce as my engine rebuild in a can. And I got a box of like every type of color from my neighbor who paints brake calipers, or did. Now I got all these different colors. Look at that, wow. Man, look at that, taste the rainbow. Hell yeah. So I got purple, I got orange, I got red, I got green. Who paint? I don't even know why you would use some of these colors. Look at that, I even got lighter fluid in here. What a coinkydink. Just look at that, there's even some Ford dark blue in here. So that's what we're gonna be using, which ironically enough. So there's a bunch of different types of Ford blues, and the one you want is this guy right here. So you can see right here on the back side, see Ford dark blue right there. Darker blue cap, there's two, there's a light blue and a dark blue. The light blue is like the 80s and up. Bright blue, not really a fan. Anything 60s and 70s, put the dark blue on it, looks way better. Way easier to hide dirt and garbage. So this is gonna be my engine rebuild in the can. I'll show you guys how to rebuild the motor in like 15 minutes. Alright, so step one of rebuilding engine is get to this point. Once you get to this point, all you gotta do is aim and fire. It's brand used, man. Man, there's already like tons of different color blues on here. That's okay. We're going right to the correct blue, which is this dark blue. There's gonna be somebody in the comments who's like, actually, it's supposed to be the light blue for that year Galaxy. I don't care. I like the dark one. How about that? It looks brand used, baby. Hell yeah. Oh, missed that one a little bit. You wanna make sure you get some runs on it. All over your throttle cable like I just did, like an idiot. I should get a raise. My boss should give me a raise. I had a couple of my friends like, why are you doing that? Why are you wasting your time? Dude, would you not rebuild your engine for like 15 minutes and like 10 bucks? I never said I'm smart, but I am. I'm doing it. You really want to bury it on right in the front part where everybody can see it. That's the only part people are going to actually look at, so you want to make sure that's the only part that's actually nice. Everything else is kind of like a, whatever, good 5-footer and it's good. That looks beautiful. Honestly, I give myself too much credit. Or not enough credit, whatever the saying is. So when it's a big greasy spot, it doesn't want to lay in, that just means you need to put more paint on it. Also, what I'm gonna do, because I'm super lazy, is spray the top of the cylinder head. I'm gonna change all these spark plugs anyways. And realistically, I could probably get away with putting a rag right there. I'm not gonna do that, because I don't really care. Oh yeah. If you get the headers, it's fine, it'll burn off. That's premium. And don't forget to get the back sides, because I always forget. And then I go to look at it and I'm like, what? This looks so weird. And you forget to paint the entire back of it. Fantastic. Yeah, we'll switch you guys around so we can shoot the water pump. Gotta rebuild that too, you know? Alright, it's gonna be the tricky part because we have belts and hoses and stuff. Oh no, I got the fuel pump. And if you get overspray on the headers, like I said, it really doesn't matter on FEs because they're gonna burn it off. These rings, the head gets so damn hot, it's not gonna matter. That looks fantastic. I don't care. I don't want anybody coming in here, coming at me being like, dude, that was terrible. You are out of your mind if you think this looks bad. You want to make sure that you don't forget to rebuild your coil as well. So I have the rebuild kit right here. It's even vinyl paint, which means, yeah. Look at that. Oh, this is thick. Probably because it's for a seat. Not my best rebuild, but we'll take it. All right, new valve covers that I found with an engine that I bought that I didn't want any of the other stuff, but I had to take it when I bought it. So these are a chrome set of valve covers. Say powered by Ford. They're pretty clean, but you can see they're pretty pitted. They're dirty. They've been sitting in the garage for years. Steel wool on any sort of stainless or chrome will make it look brand new in like seconds. And I know these are probably gonna have scratches on them. I don't really care, not a show car. You can see already, just doing that little bit did actually a pretty good amount. And so what I'm gonna do is just kind of spray these down with some water and go up and down this, and you'll watch all of the like rust pitting will come out, and it will literally transform the way these things look in like a matter of seconds. That's the nice thing about it, is you really don't have to put a lot. I mean, yeah, if it's like super bad, then yeah, you're gonna have to take a little bit more time. But then once I get all of the pitting out, I can come back and buff these if I really wanted to, and they would look like a straight up mirror. And then I take that, go grab a rag, spray it down one more time. Dang, dude, that is a hot freaking rod right there. Look at the difference between these two. That's insane. Brand new valve covers for free 99, baby. So I'm gonna do that on the entire thing from front to back. We'll shoot some before shots so you guys can kind of see the difference. But man, that is gonna look really good on the car. So I'm gonna do the whole thing, top to bottom, front to back. Get yourself some steel wool. I've heard you can put Coke on this thing, like literally Coca-Cola, like the soda. And that acidic with like tin foil will do the same thing. Or just use this with that combination with water. I don't know, steel wool is the easiest one. It's cheap, super easy. You can get it at any hardware store, and some water. Doesn't take a lot. So the other thing I noticed is this valve cover has a nice little ding right here. So I'm gonna try to take that out because I can actually get to it on the back side here. Body tool, body hammer, get that on like a nice flat area. Doesn't have to be anywhere crazy, so I'm just gonna use the microfiber to kind of dampen it a little bit. But you could, mostly so I don't ruin the finish, but essentially just tap the back side. And you can hear it come out. And it's getting there. Much better than it was. It definitely needs more though. So what I'll do is probably take this over to the vise because it has a pad on it. Tap it straight down with the rag just to kind of not scratch it. And then I'll pull it back and it should be pretty good. So take that down. It's already way better though. Like way better. So I'm getting this wrapped up, and man, this looks actually really freaking good. So this is pretty much what the engine bay looks like as of right now. And the only thing that I have done is specifically to the engine. Now I'll overlay some before shots. This is not at all what it looked like. You know, this thing was covered in grease, rust, dirt, oil, pretty much every sort of contaminant was stuck on this thing, and it was just really dirty. And all I did essentially here was clean it, and repaint some stuff. Now I never took anything apart, I didn't take the motor out, I didn't do anything crazy, I didn't even mask stuff off, I just threw rags over, I didn't use tape, I didn't use any of that, and there's no reason for it. If you're, you know, good enough with a rattle can, you can just take some time to degrease and clean everything with products like this. You know, it really doesn't take a whole lot to make a really, really good outcome, and that's really what we have here. So the one thing that's left that I haven't done is actually paint the bay, and I don't want to go too crazy, but I do want to kind of dust on some paint on like the rails here, some corners and bits and pieces of the inner fenders and stuff like that. But yeah, these valve covers, they were sitting in the bed of my truck with an engine that I bought. They were pretty corroded, and just some steel wool and a little bit of elbow grease. Both that and the breather both came out pretty much brand new, and then all I did was clean the wires and paint everything else. So really, really stoked with the way this came out. This motor looks really, really nice now. You know, as you kind of look at the rest of the car and then look in, this is one of the nicer parts of the car now, which is really cool. I'm still going to do a little bit more wire management. I can't really change it too much, unfortunately, just with the lengths and everything on the wires. But overall, this looks much, much better than the way that it did. And then I went ahead and I rerouted our fuel filter down here, mainly so it's away from heat. But on top of that, you don't want these things mounted vertically because they will create vapor lock issues. So it's one solid, consistent line going all the way up into the carburetor. And then I took that massive 2-inch spacer off, so now it just has a little 1-inch, and the hood fits a lot better. So overall, way better. So the last thing I'm gonna go ahead and do in this engine bay is just kind of dust on some black, put on stuff like the radiator. I'll probably pull the fan pulley off, do the fan real quick, just some very small things here and there. And I'm not gonna do a gloss because everything in here is a satin. So I'm gonna go grab a can of satin black. And like I said, I've been doing this with stuff that I've just had lying around. So I've had all these paint cans just lying around. I might even have a can of low gloss black somewhere in there that I can use. If not, you can go to Home Depot and get like a $3 can of just like the most cheap black you can find and just dust it on. It's nothing too crazy. A little bit goes a long way with engine bays, and just cleaning them does a lot. And once they're clean, paint sticks to them a hell of a lot nicer. So try it out. You'd be surprised what you can come up with. Well, I'd say I outdid myself, but I'm pretty positive. Honestly, I think I did. Realistically, I didn't think it was gonna quite come out this nice, but dude, this thing is ridiculously nice. For a $2.39, I have it right here. It was like $2, like not even $3. This is what I got from Lowe's. This is just this is the paint I ended up with. This is like the cheapest stuff you can buy. It's literally like transparent, barely comes out of the can. The nice thing about that is it's extremely difficult to run, but it blends in so nicely with everything else, and it's really easy not to get overspray on things because of how, like, honestly, like how crappy it is, because it doesn't really spray out very well. And so it just lays over super nice. You guys saw the grill shot. I didn't mask a single thing and got no overspray on anything because you can just get really, really close because it has a circular tip, not a directional tip. So the tip on this thing is actually a circle. You can see right there, versus the ones that you see are square and directional. You don't want a directional one to do engine bays. It's really, really hard to do engine bays with those because then you gotta spray horizontally and vertically, and there's just too many cracks and crevices. Man, this came out really, really good. Just cleaned the wires, painted the block. I ended up painting the back of the radiator, just dusting it on a little bit. Same with the fan. I just had an air cleaner lying around. These valve covers were sitting in the bed of my truck with a little bit of Scotch-Brite. Those look brand new. Everything blends in really, really nicely. So very, very happy with this thing. But yeah, if you guys are ever considering going ahead and putting some paint on your engine bay and cleaning it, I highly recommend doing it because you could have an extremely hammered car. And if you pull up to any sort of car show or car meet and you open the hood of this thing and it looks like this, everybody's gonna be super excited. So with that, I really hope you guys do take up on this and do something like this for your own vehicle. It doesn't take a lot of work. That's the other thing. I'm less than $100 in everything you see here. The cans of spray paint, I bought 4 of them at like 12 bucks for the 4. It came out to like $3 a can after tax and everything, and I'm in California. And then on top of that, the most expensive thing on this car that I did was the spark plug, which I didn't even have to do. I just did it, which was like 34 bucks. Other than that, everything else was basically free in this thing. It was just a little bit of labor. Alrighty, and just like that, you'd think we're done with this whole thing, right? The engine looks bitchin', it drives great, the interior is good. The exterior is pretty decent, but there's one thing that we still haven't done. A million of you guys have commented on it. When are you gonna get to the damn quarter panels? I know, saving the best for last. We're gonna do the paint work on this thing, fix both quarters. I've already started on it a little bit. And then we're gonna raise the front of the car 2 inches, change the front wheels and tires to really finish off that old school AFX and super stock look. And with that, we're just about done with this 66 Galaxy, and I'm incredibly stoked with the way this car is coming out. You guys remember this thing sat outside my lot. It was pretty much rotting on jack stands, and it looked absolutely terrible compared to what you see now. It's a totally different car. It drives different, sounds different, looks different. Everything about the car is so much better and transformed into what you see today. And it didn't take a lot of time or money, realistically. And that's the one thing I want to motivate you guys to do as well, because it doesn't always have to be a SEMA build. It doesn't always have to be perfect. Sometimes just making the thing cool doesn't mean it has to be perfect. And at the same time, I want you guys to also keep in mind, you can always do stuff later. You can always do it again later. Sometimes it's okay building a car 5 or 6 times versus just leaving it looking like crap the entire time until it's finally the right time. Let me just be honest with you guys, there's no such thing as the right time to do something on a car. Anything can happen in this world. And with that, take the step forward, make your car badass, do what you can now, and you can always do more later. So with that, hope you guys went on to enjoy today's video. Drop a like on the video if you did. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I will see you guys on the next video with the quarter panels and the rest of the work finishing off this car. Grab a merchandise at 909speedcompany.com and check out the Patreon if you want to support me in the builds. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one with the Galaxy. Later.